Hi, everybody. Welcome again to yet another APOC Live with Viniti and me on Thursday nights. So today's topic is going to be really interesting. But before we jump into that, I just want to sort of say happy lockdown number 6, Melbourne. We've just gone into lockdown tonight. And I hope, for me, I know I'm just feeling like, oh my God, not one more. I just hope all of you are not feeling that way and you're all home now and safe. It's going to be another 7 days and we need to put up with it. That's what we've got to do. But hopefully we'll keep you entertained for the next 30 minutes through our live here. So hi, Viniti. How was your day today?
Hi, Sangeeta. And what can I say after the 6th lockdown? It's become like the part of a routine. Like it's more common to have a lockdown than actually having no lockdown from last 2 years. So I think that the thing that I just want to say is that if anybody on the call or who's listening later is just, feeling that it's just too much, which is what I felt when I heard today at 5 o'clock that we're going into the lockdown, because what happens is a lot of your plans get dismantled. A lot of, what you've been hoping for to happen, especially people with kids, birthdays are getting cancelled. And if for whatever reason, you're not feeling good about it and you just want to, have a bit of a chat and, reach out to one of us or any one of us, because no matter how strong we are, we all have our days. And, like this lockdown is turning out to be creating that one of those days where, I felt a little low at a point and I'm like, this has to stop at some point. Nevertheless, look, my call out is that we are here. And if you want to talk to us and, a lot of our plans, at least my plans have kind of gone down the ditch. So, I'll probably be available to chat. And I guess, Sangeeta, I'm guessing your trainings got cancelled. So we were just talking about that. So probably, yes. So look, we're putting our hands up. And if you are one of those people who are actually not impacted and not feeling bad and, one of those happy spirited people, make sure you reach out to people who are not so, people have been quiet and, haven't been very active, and this lockdown could impact a lot of people's mental health. It's just good to go out there and ask your friends and families if they're here or not here to talk. I think talking is a very important aspect of getting your mind and thoughts realigned and start to feel upbeat. That's just something that I thought I'll put it out there, because the conversations that I've had in the last 2 to 3 hours, all of them have been like, come on, this got to stop kind of a situation. So and whoever is watching at the moment, please, if you have any questions on the topic that we're going to be talking about, make sure you send us the messages and we will be more than happy to talk about it. So I'll give it to Sangeeta to give a bit of an introduction as to what we are going to be talking about today.
Yeah, thanks, Viniti. So today's topic is confidence, and the reason we've picked today's topic to be that is because we've heard from a few of you in the group ask about it. I've also had a few people reach out to me on the messenger separately and ask about, confidence and just speaking about few issues at work that have been impacting them around confidence. So Viniti and I decided to do a session today just to talk about confidence and talk about what confidence is and why it's important. Viniti has also recently written a blog, which I know she's going to be sharing with the group soon about confidence. And unfortunately today we were supposed to have Min Wo join us, but unfortunately she's unwell and so she couldn't join us, but hopefully we'll have her on one of our next sessions. So let's get into it, Viniti. Since you've written the blog, I'm really curious to know what is confidence according to you, and why is it important for professionals to have confidence?
I think confidence, before I say why is it only important for professionals, I think confidence is something that is important for anybody who wants to be successful in life. Full stop. You are an entrepreneur, you are in professional line. Everybody has similar skills, so same skills when you go out in the market, in the position. If you are in marketing, lots of people are doing similar marketing techniques. But what would really get you picked from the crowd is your confidence in an ability to deliver your product, and that product can be yourself, right? You yourself is a product when you're going into the professional world. Is how confidently you're able to talk about yourself is what's going to get people to pick you for your product, for your services, right? That's the bottom line. That is the why, and that is the most important part, why confidence sits on top. And the reason I say this, I was recently watching a very successful entrepreneur's video, and she goes through what the technique of selling and everything, and at the end she says, all these techniques are amazing, but if you can't deliver this technique with confidence, people are not going to trust you. The confidence builds the trust in what you are delivering, be it in your professional world or be in your entrepreneurial journey. So why it's the attribute that you must have to be successful in whatever area you are. Now, what is confidence? Confidence is truly a state in which you are. What state you are in is going to reflect on you externally. Your internal state is going to define. Internal state is what you're thinking, what you're feeling in any moment in time is going to simply reflect outward, and that is confidence. So if you are not feeling good about yourself, if you're not saying good things to yourself, if you're not having good thoughts coming into your mind, it will not reflect, it just will reflect that, not good stuff, and that would bring down your state. So in simple words, confidence is just a state, and it's very simple. It's actually amazing how easy it is to change state. It is really, really powerful if you're able to change your state, and there are some techniques that you can use to really change your state, like in seconds. So learning those techniques, and we would talk about a little bit more, and I'll probably leave the guys who are watching or girls who are watching this session with one of those techniques today to practice and see how that works for them. But really, the two things: why you want to be successful, you have to be confident. Simple. And what it is, it's a state you are in, and you can control that state. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And so when you say state, is it a state of mind? Is it a state of being? Is it a state of emotional? Is it an emotional state? Like when you say state, what do you mean?
So it's a state of, let's say, it's your mood at any given time of the day, right? What mood? Your mood is influenced by how you're feeling about yourself at any point in time. And you can have multiple or different moods at any point in time. And state is, I think in simple words, state is the mood you are experiencing at any point of time. That's it. Like, there's not much to it. I think if we start to expand that and, the pillars of how you control your mood, and you can go into the spiral of information, but just keeping it at the level, the state is simply the mood you are in.
Yeah. Okay. So when people are confident, like you've had a lot of clients, I'm sure, and confidence is probably one of the things for most people, like you say, if they want to be successful, and when they come to you, I'm assuming they come to you because they want to be successful, right? So what do you tell your clients? Like, what do you see in your clients that really affects confidence? Like, what are the 3 factors, I suppose you would say, that really impacts someone's confidence?
The 3 factor, and this is what I was even planning to, set up a little bit more context around this, but the main 3 things that really impact anybody's confidence is your physiology, so your body language, how you're carrying yourself, your mindset, what you're thinking at any given point of time, and the third one is the focus, where your focus is, what are you trying to achieve? Like, you really need to be absolutely have that clarity to get confident in any area. So, if somebody said, you will be confident, how do I put it? I'm trying to put it in a very simple way to say, you will be confident in something that you're good at. Mm-hmm. And you will get good at something when you focus at it. Yeah. So it's the focus is the place you start from. You get the clarity around what you really want to achieve by getting confident, and then you work on your mindset and your body language, and when all these 3 things come together, you're confident. Like, as I said, these are the 3 pillars of confidence that at least for personally for me in last 20 odd years, I have experienced that all of them go hand in hand at every wake up time, because I've been thrown in situations where I was backfilling for a leader to go on a speaking event where I had no idea. I'd never done the speaking event before, and somebody, very similar situation, like Min fell unwell at the last moment, and somebody needed to fill that spot, and I was called upon, and I said yes, because that's what I do. Just say yes without thinking. So I just said yes, and I thought, I'll figure it out later. And I had 24 hours to go and address women in leadership, and there were about 40 women in leadership, and I had to talk about leadership in that forum. And I said, now I have jumped, I have to swim through this, so I have to think what are the 3 things that I have to really build upon. I focused on what I was supposed to deliver. I prepared my pack like in less than 3 hours to go and deliver. I worked on my mindset, telling the right things to myself. I can do it. I have done it before, maybe not in that forum, but I had done it before. And my body language, that's such an important aspect, because your body language can actually change your state. And people don't realize that if the way you sit, the way you walk can actually control the way you feel. And that's what I worked on. And I remember walking into the forum and feeling very nervous walking up to the stage when my name was called, and I was sitting at the back and watching the entire crowd. That's what I do when I go in these speaking events, is I sit at the last to see where is the energy area, what is the power area in the room, and then watching, and I'm like, okay, I was shaking as I was walking up the stage, and I'm like, take some deep breath, and then stood up the stage, looked at the people. They were smiling at me, and it's amazing that energy that flows through. I smiled, they smiled, and then I started, and it went on. I was given 40 minutes, and I think the Q&A went over that. And nevertheless, it went. I made mistakes. I won't say I rocked it. I did make mistakes. I owned those mistakes, and I walked up much more confident to do the ones after that. So it was all coming, those factors together, delivering it, taking an action, and coming out of that more confident to do and deliver those kind of presentations than I was before that. So, those are the factors when I work with my clients. And, each of these have like layers out of layers, and you see which one fits who the best, depending on the client, where they are in their state, what their feelings are. And then you develop them to hone those states and those attributes to bring them up to a level. And the most amazing part of these client transformations that I have had is they have come back and given me one feedback, not about the content that I delivered, but the feeling that I left them with was that they felt much more confident towards the end of those sessions than they felt before, and they were able to take action. And that's what's important, just getting you to move, and that's why the physiology is an important aspect of developing your confidence. Unfortunately, in an environment we are in, the lockdown that we are sitting and staying in one place a lot more, which is further putting us into a downward spiral. And it's important to get yourself moving. There are a lot of hormonal changes that happens as a part of the movement that in any ways brings up the happy hormone, as you're called, that builds a little bit of mindset to take actions and things like that. Yeah, so those are the things that I really work on, the 3 pillars, which is basically your physiology, your mindset, and your focus. So if you can get those 3 things aligned, yes, the confidence is just then a matter of doing it.
Yeah. So in what you were saying though, right, like you mentioned, the lockdown is one of the things, but there's so many other external factors though that impact people's confidence, right? Maybe it's somebody not appreciating what you do, or you've been always put down by other people that are around you, or you've been feeling, you may have been a confident person maybe a few years ago, but now because of external factors, there are things that impact you and you feel inconfident, or you just don't feel like you're somebody who can, you feel like you've lost the confidence that you once perhaps had. Like, for example, when you look at children, right? Children are like supremely confident in everything they do. They don't really care who's judging them or what's happening around them until they grow up a little bit and start understanding, when people judge them, or, understanding these different biases that happen. So why do we as adults let other people's opinions and other people's other people's impositions on us impact our confidence? And how can you stop doing that? Like, how can you rebuild your confidence if you've lost it from before?
It's a very good question, but when I work with clients, unfortunately it comes from your childhood upbringing, right? So if I had to explain it, it's our brains are just it's just muscles. It's your brain muscles are just like your body muscles. You train them, you build upon them, and you develop your muscles as you do like your body muscles, right? With brain, you got to practice a lot to develop these patterns that are formed, which are called responses. So I'll break that down so that it makes more sense. When we see an event happening in our lives, we respond to that event based on how we have been trained to respond, right? So it's what I call life coaches are your personal trainers for your brain, because what we are trying to do, or what we really do, is try to build your brain muscles, or muscles, so that you do things, you respond differently to the same situation, which you wouldn't have, or you would have done in a way which you have been trained so far. So as a child, why are kids, and you said it very beautifully, kids don't worry about what people are saying, how people are reacting. I mean, we just went out for dinner, and I kept shouting at my little one to sit down in one place, and you would see like she's jumping all around, and she doesn't care what people are going to think, say. She's just free spirited and having full fun. But over the period, we will keep telling our child, that's a wrong thing to do. You don't talk like that. You should be sitting in one place. You shouldn't be answering back to adults, even if they are wrong. And you keep repeating that. You build that muscle over the period of time, that when you are an adult, that's all that you know. The only thing you know is what your brain has been trained for. That's why you let other people's word impact you so much, because that's what your brain has been trained to do. Your brain has been told to do that. To be a confident person, you need an assurance from an external person. The good part of that is you don't. To be a confident person, it's all internal. Your physiology, your mindset, your focus. It has absolutely, not even once did I say it has anything to do with what others are saying to you, what others are thinking about you. None of that would matter if you could ace these 3 pillars. Why it matters is simply that's how we have been trained. We have been trained to listen and respond to what people think, because we need to make other people happy. People will never be happy, and that is the hardest, and I think the biggest truth. And I'll share a little story here, Sangeeta, with you. And I was thinking about this morning, and I recently had this light bulb moment about myself. Growing up, I was told, you're too loud. You talk too much. I got names like Xena the warrior princess in school, or Jungly, the wild one. And, for a very long time, I thought I needed to be girl-like, because none of those words associated to a feminine energy. That's all because you are putting yourself as a masculine energy is why you're getting those tags. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I need to be soft-spoken, or maybe I shouldn't speak as I do. You're too loud in terms of, you speak your mind. Yeah, you shouldn't always be talking what you think. You need to think before you talk. My mom used to say, if it's the best dessert and you put a drop of poison in it, it spoils the dessert. Like nobody's going to have it, no matter how yummy the dessert is. And she said the words spoken out of somebody's mouth are exactly that. So no matter how beautiful they are looking, how well presented they are, if they cannot speak the right words, it ruins the entire combo of, presentation. But when I started my coaching journey, what feedback I started getting, that we get a direct, there is no beating behind the bushes with you. You tell us the truth. Your feedback is on the point. You are absolutely honest about your feeling. Same Viniti, two different perceptions, right? What that made me realize at that stage was what I always thought was my shortcoming, because I was loud and I was Xena the warrior princess, the boss lady, the wild one, is actually my strength. You have to be you. You will attract the people who will connect with you, would like your energy, right? So you got to stop listening to those people or those voices or those people who tell you anything else. It just means that you haven't found the right set of people, right? You haven't found the right people who up your energy. And that's another thing that, when I talk about in my confidence coaching, one of the most important thing is, who are you surrounding yourself with? Right? Are you surrounded with the people who are actually identifying your strengths and uplifting you? Or are they ones who are looking at your strength as your weaknesses and pulling you down? Because if they do so, it's an unfortunate state, because what your strength is will always give you more energy. It's as simple as that, right? Your energy state will go up when you are using your strengths. But somebody who's trying to say that your energies are not in the right space, it will make you feel depleted. It will kill your confidence, because that's the only thing you know. Your strength is the only thing that you know. That's the only way you know how to exist. But if people are constantly pulling you down on your energy, you will lose confidence. You will be like, I don't know to be anything else. I never knew anything else than being upfront and honest. That's just it is. That's me. So I had to find the right set of people to hang around with who, are in that mind frame or mindset, or can accept me as I am, rather than trying to chase the people who reject that part of me. And that's how you grow, and that's how you move forward. Now, yes, you do, as you said, how do you reconvene from a point of when you are actually pushed down? And it happens to many of us. It happened to me today when I heard the news, and I'm like, all the effort I'm putting towards doing things I'm doing, everything is getting cancelled, and I'm sure numerous people out there at the moment who have got small business are going through that. And you're like, every time you start to stand up and put your heads up, and this lockdown comes and gives you a big slap in your back, back into your beds and stuff like that. You create a strategy, you create a practice. That's what I do. So I create a practice, and this practice can be as simple as, every time I'm going to feel low, I'm going to first of all identify I'm feeling low. I'm not in the good space in my head, in my heart, in my gut. I'm going to get aware of that, and I'm going to do at least 3 things that are going to bring me back to my energy levels. Now, that could mean talking to people who appreciate you, right? So you pick up a call and talk to a couple of people who appreciate your strengths, your energies, and you're like, it's okay, it's happened, you move forward. You don't surround yourself with people who deplete your energy, full stop. That is so important if you want to become confident. You've got to identify those people who are creating negativity or negative energy around you. And sometimes it's hard to, I suppose, avoid it, but build your boundaries. Don't let them get into your head. Don't let them get into your heart. And you need to know that. It's self-awareness, right? You need to have those, people you need to talk to first thing. Get moving. Change your state. As I said, confidence is all about state. Change your state. You can't go out of the house. Change your room. Just move to another room. Don't sit in the same room that you have heard the news in, or somebody's told you something, or even for that matter, if you have had a fight with, let's say, your better half and it's kind of put your confidence down, get out of that place and go to another room. Just leave that space where that energy had kind of depleted physically. Just move. One of the other things you can do is, and this is a funny one, but it works, either have a very cold water or have a very cold shower. It sends your body into a shock. which forces you to change your state. And this is a very physical thing. And as I said, it sits under the physiology part of my confidence building 3 pillar. Is really, if you want to change your state, that's what you do. And you might have heard a lot of people saying, when I'm depressed and when I had a breakup, I had a whole box of ice cream. It works. It actually works, because what it does is it sends that shock to your body of temperature change, that it forces you to change your state. So those are the 3 things, you can do to change your state. Because if you are not feeling at best of your, in your life or at a moment, you need to have those strategies. These are some of the strategies. I will post a video that I did long time back, and that means, last year in 2020 March, when, Corona hit, and, I did how to change state. I probably have that in my archive. So I'll post that in the group for people who want to know what are the ways they can change your state, especially when you're in lockdown. And a lot of us stay in apartments and small units and don't have that, accessibility to change the physical environment as much as, people who are probably living in outer suburbs and stuff like that. So that's the way you can kind of bring back when people have demotivated you, killed your spirits, and brought your confidence down. Just first of all, acknowledge it, that it's happening to you. Be aware and know your boundaries. Stop it there. Walk out if it needs to be. Just walk out of the situation, whatever it takes.
Yeah, good stuff. I just want to remind everyone, we've just got about 5 minutes left for the live today. So do post your questions if you have any in the chat over here, or in the comments, and we can pick it up. But I have one last question for you, Viniti, before we wrap up. And unless we get others from people listening in, but there's a fine line between confidence and comfort. Right? A lot of people, when they feel comfortable in a particular situation, they feel confident. But the minute you're taken out of a comfortable situation and put in an uncomfortable situation or in a new situation, your confidence levels sort of tend to waver. So in your sort of experience and in your views, why does that happen? Like, if I'm a confident person, shouldn't I be confident in any situation? Why is it only in comfortable situations? And how do people manage that? Like, if you're moving from situations to situations, to manage your confidence and keep it high, how do you do that?
Very interesting thing that you asked. And we cannot be, this is why I talk about the 3rd pillar, focus. The importance of focus is knowing exactly what are you looking to develop your confidence in, right? So when you become comfortable, that means you have done that, zone stuff, whatever that comfort zone stuff is for you. You have done it so many times that you know it in and out. That's as simple as that. The first thing is the other thing is when you're moving from one comfort zone and you're wanting to do it in another zone and you feel the fear, it's not so much as not feeling confident. So let me be very clear. If you're a confident person, you'll be confident because you would have built the strategies to get confident, whatever those strategies are for you and whatever works for you. What you really feel when you're moving out of your comfort zone is a fear of an unknown. And that's where you create a focus. You're like, okay, what is that you want to really get out of doing what you're trying to do? Like, the change doesn't happen because nobody wants to change. And in my coaching experience, nobody has come to me because they just felt like, oh, you know what, I want to talk to a life coach today. Let's go and have a chat and, see how I can improve my life. No, they are going through a major pain in their life to trigger that movement. Some kind of blockage or some kind of stuck situation has hit them and they want to move forward from that place. And they acknowledge that and they're like, we can take some help here. When you are absolutely clear where you are going, you can create a strategy to become confident. And that's why the focus part is so important in becoming a confident person. Is you are good at what you're confident in what you're good at. Each one of us, we know what we are good at, and we can absolutely rock it when it comes to talking about it or teaching that or whatever that comfort zone is for you. But when you want to move away from a comfort zone into a zone of unknown, you really need to know, why are you even doing it? What's your why? Like, people say why is overrated. But the thing is, if you don't know why you're doing it, you're going to lose your way. You're going to stop. You're going to pull away from it. You're like, and not feeling confident will become an excuse, because you're not going to get confident unless you do it, and you're not going to do it until you feel confident. So you go into this spiral of excuses of not taking an action, and then not becoming confident, and because you're not confident, you're not going to take an action. So if you knew why you were doing it in the first place. So this is one thing that I absolutely go back whenever I get a client who says, I have been procrastinating or I am feeling stuck. My first question to anybody who works with me is, and I have actually recently dropped a client because they were not clear where they wanted to go. And I said, go back home. I've got this exercise. Do it. If you can figure out what are you trying to achieve? If you don't know what you're trying to achieve in a session, this session is not going to be fruitful for you. So knowing your focus point and changing the state from that, you can help you build that confidence. If you don't know that and you're in your comfort zone, you're never going to move unless a pain has really struck in you, and whatever that pain is, a mental pain, a physical pain, an emotional pain, whatever that pain is, a financial pain in many situations, you really need to have that reason. Why do you want to change? If you don't have that why of changing, unfortunately, you're not going to push hard enough to gain learnings and become confident to move forward.
Yeah, cool. Makes sense. So that's all I had for you, but you did say that you will share with us a technique around this before we switch off today. So what is that technique? I'm curious.
So one of the techniques, and I think people can see me, hopefully, I wasn't going to do this, but if you are not feeling good, and you can try this is a little practice that you can do, if you're not feeling good, observe your body language. Just see, even if you're sitting, just watch yourself, right? If your shoulders are bent down, your head is down, and try to feel happy. If anybody's watching it, try doing that. Just put your head and shoulder down and try to feel happy. You will struggle doing that. So if that is happening, and if you're in the sofa or in the bed, it's not going to work. You got to put your shoulders back, raise your head up, chin, and breathe square 4. So it's a breathing technique called 4 square, right? So you breathe in for 4 at the count of 4, hold your breath for the count of 4, breathe out at the count of 4, and hold the breath for count of 4. You do it for 2 minutes, and that will guarantee change your state, which is what you're wanting to do to build confidence. So it's a 4, I'll go again. It's a technique. You sit straight, put your legs on the floor, put your palms on your thighs, look straight, chin up, and breathe in at the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4. Do it for 2 minutes.
Okay. Give it a go. I've never heard of that before, but it's quite interesting. I'm pretty sure, it just brings you back to the present moment, and sort of, I'm sure that will make a difference. So for those of you listening today, thank you so much for dialing in. And Viniti, do you have any last words? I just want to say, take care of yourselves during the lockdown. And like Viniti said, please do reach out if you're struggling or if you want to have a chat. We're always open to having chats with anybody in this group. That's the reason we've created this group, so we can support each other. So please do reach out. And Viniti, anything from you as closing remarks?
No, I think if one thing I wanted to say just before I go is, if anybody in this group want to get confident in doing video chats and wanted to come on live with us, please raise your hands. If there's one thing we can do is get you confident enough to talk on lives, then this is your ground. This is a safe space. Raise your hands, tell us what you want to talk about, and we are more than happy to bring you online, and you can practice, just doing what we do is, rock it at the last minute kind of a thing. So please make sure you do that. Put your hands up, say yes, and then we will figure it out together. That's it, and take care. Another week of lockdown. Get your dose of fresh air whenever you can. Change your state by drinking lots of cold water when you're feeling a little down, and do the breathing technique. Even if you're not feeling down, I think that's a technique that brings your focus back to in the moment. And it's really helpful when your mind is going wandering around and you just don't know what one thing you want to focus on.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks everyone for joining us today, and have a great night. See ya.
Good night. Bye.